Hey guys, what is going on? It is Chris here. It has been a while since I did a video. I took a break, a little break for last week. It was my birthday plus Mother's Day, and and stuff like that. So took a break. A lot of stuff going on in personal life. Like I said, with the birthday and Mother's Day, so decided just to take a week off. So anyway, we are back. It has been a while. And hopefully, you guys have been doing pretty good. So anyway, we have a monster. I think 15 game slate or something like that here today. I think every team is playing here on Friday. So we got a pretty big slate today. A lot of really high totals out there. So it's going to be a very high scoring night, and some pretty good pitchers out there. We got Degrom and Scherzer, and a couple of those guys that we will talk about. So Anyway, some of the totals that I'm looking at right away: 9.5 with LA and the Royals. We'll definitely get in this one. Atlanta and Milwaukee's a 9.5. Cincinnati and Dodgers 9.5. As normal, if you guys are researching yourself, I'm not going to get into it, but definitely watch some of the wind and stuff like that. That definitely helps out the ballparks. 9.5 with Boston and Houston, and look at a lot of the player matchups. Fangraphs is really good to look at for the pitchers and stuff. So, like I said, whenever I do my videos, I don't go too in depth into it because a lot of you guys don't care about it. So you just want to know who to pick and who's going to win you money. So if you really want to get into studying the pitchers and the ground ball rates and all that stuff, like I said, Fangraphs and stuff like that is pretty good to look at. So I briefly just picked a couple guys here that I'm looking at, and then we'll pick some other guys that I didn't mention here in the write up. So really short write up that I did here. Anyway, if you want to get in on premium MLB, we are doing that again. Only $10 a week. Like I said, I've been doing 50-50s and double ups, and that is the way to go. So if you are purchasing the lineups, make sure that is the way you are going. If you're playing tournaments, probably not going to be winning as much. So, like I said, my lineups are towards 50-50s and double ups. So definitely make sure you are playing that. Mix in one or two small tournaments just in case something happens. But for the most part, 50-50s and double ups. To get in on it, check out our Twitter in the comment section. Just message us. Say, hey, want to get in on lineups? Would love to have you guys come join us. And like I said, I've been doing a couple tweaks here recently, and some of the tweaks are definitely looking a little bit better. So would love to have you guys come join us here for Fanduel and DraftKings. Like I said, $10 a week separately for each sport, each site. So anyway, right away, DeGrom, some of the pitchers, he's going to be cashy, at least 60-70% owned in cash games. Really expensive, as we all know, in a very good pitcher's park. Very cashy, as I mentioned. Had 14 Ks versus Miami last month, and the other game he pitched wasn't too shabby either. So just put this dude in there in your cash games, 33% K rate. And I think it was 15 or 16% whiff rate as well. So anyway, if you are doing kind of GPP and you still want a very good pitcher, definitely go to Mad Max for sure. Max Scherzer against Chicago. Chicago does strike out a lot, but as we know, they can hit. And, Max Scherzer does give up some home runs. So that's the only risky thing there. And his ERA is up a little bit, but his strikeouts are still looking pretty good. So Mad Max for sure in GPP. If you want to double down on him, DeGrom and Max Scherzer and DraftKings, definitely don't mind doing that. Next, we got, I forgot how to say his name. We got Joey here against Pittsburgh. Anyway, he's not looking the greatest this year, a little bit better last year. But anyway, in a pitcher's ballpark once again there in San Diego. Pittsburgh top 5 in strikeouts versus left-handed pitching, which is pretty good. He's probably not going to get you a lot. Like I said, this is just to get some big bats in there. And J.P. Buckner, I think, is the umpire, so pitcher-friendly umpire there for him. So that's if you need 25 or 30 points, don't expect too much for him. Cash stacks for sure, Cleveland versus Bundy. It's a little risky just because Cleveland is not the best offense out there. They do strike out a lot. And Bundy, who knows, he could put together a half-decent game. But as we all know, he does suck quite a bit. So Cleveland scored, 13 last night or the night before. So they can hit. They got some good guys, Lindor, Ramirez, but they strike out a ton. So they're a hit-and-miss offense. Then we got Kansas City versus Harvey. Harvey's just been terrible this year. ERA almost at 7. I don't know how he hasn't been designated yet, but, whatever. Anyway, yeah, like I said, Kansas City guys with Merrifield, Mondesi, some of those guys, Nicky Lopez, if he's playing. Don't mind a couple of them. Um, then bullpen game for Texas. Maybe put in a couple St. Louis bats, but it's hard to see how bullpen games go. Let me see here. Maybe a couple bats against CC Sabathia. I haven't checked the weather on that one, so it could be raining. It says it is, but I don't know how bad it is. But a couple, maybe Tampa Bay bats here against CC. I know he's been half decent, but Tampa Bay can hit lefties a little bit. Maybe a couple against Daniel Norris, Oakland, half decent against lefties. Matt Chapman, Davis, Piscotty, some of those guys, if you want to go that way. Nova, he has been complete trash, but Toronto, man, they're they're terrible. Last night they were a pretty cashy stack on a 5-game slate, and they sucked. They had 2 hits, so very GPP. I don't think a lot of people are going to have them. So if for some reason they do get to Nova here, you're probably going to have most Toronto guys at low ownership. There might be a couple like Grichuk and Vlad that are relatively high ownership just because they get some cheaper guys in there with DeGrom. But still, that's up to you. Toronto, like I said, looks good against a bad pitcher, but as we know, they're just as bad. So GPP for me. Don't mind a couple bats for Atlanta against Chacin, Acuna, Freeman, guys like that. Jeffrey Rodriguez not looking the worst this year. I think ERA around 3.32, 3.3. Let me go look at it real quick. 2.92, so definitely not too shabby there. I don't know much about the dude, but he's not looking too bad. So maybe you can go GPP if you want to put him in your starting pitching lineup. But like I said, GPP only there. DeSclafani against LA. I think a couple bats could get to him. Cody Bellinger, maybe some Jock Peterson, even though he gets usually pinch hit for in the 7th or 8th inning because they bring in a lefty. 4.17 is not the worst, but as we know, it's Great American Small Park there in Cincinnati, so don't mind a couple there. As you see, been pitching pretty good, so GPP, as I said, only he has been pitching pretty good. Strikeouts are up as well, but like I said, LA can hit pretty good. Turner, Seager, and stuff like that. Cole Irvin, Colorado, one of those teams up and down kind of offenses, hit or miss. They could destroy them, or they could also get destroyed. So last time he faced Kansas City, not the greatest offense out there. So it's a GPP if you want to go him. I don't mind him if you want to go in one of your lineups. We got Kelly against San Francisco. Maybe you can go him, but San Francisco could hit a little bit in Arizona. Don't mind a couple Houston bats against Porcello. They'll be very chalky just because they have been unreal the last 5 or 6 games. Houston, they're just killing it. Maybe GPP, well, not GPP, kind of cashy with Philly against Gray. Gray, really a hit and miss pitcher for sure, and Philly has a lot of guys that can hit. Frankie Montes, don't mind him as a pitcher there either if you want to go that way. Detroit, as we know, one of the worst offenses, and Montes, not the worst pitcher out there. $8,800. He's actually a lot better this year. In the years past, he's been up and down, but definitely finding it this year with a 2.78. So I don't mind a little bit of him if you want to go that way for 8,800. But for sure, the 2 big boys are DeGrom and Max Scherzer. You're only picking these other guys if you're for sure Houston, and some of these other bats are going to go off for you. So, I think Kansas City and a little bit of Cleveland are going to be pretty popular just because, for the most part, most of their bats aren't that expensive. So you're getting cheap exposure to some pretty good matchups for them. And then, like I said, you can stack DeGrom and Scherzer. So those 2 stacks will probably be very popular. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Briefly went into it as normal. If you guys want lineups, would love to have you guys come join us. $10 a week for Fanduel and $10 a week separately for DraftKings. As normal, we do post on our Slack. If you guys don't know what that is, check it out. It's just it's kind of like Discord, something like that. Just very easy to let everybody get the lineup at the same exact time. Just a very easy app to maneuver as well. So that is where we post our lineup. So you will have to sign up for the Slack app if you don't have that. Don't worry, it is absolutely free to sign up. So, would love to have you. So, as normal, just message us on Twitter to get signed up. So that is mostly it. So, alrighty, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. relatively short. Just briefly went over it. Like I said, I don't go in depth as I do with NBA, just because there's so much math for baseball. And like I said, most of you guys don't care. You guys just want the best picks. So that is it. Like I said, we are back, and we'd love to have you guys come join us. All right, guys. If I don't do a video Saturday, I might do one Sunday. I will do one for one of the days. Just definitely check back in. All right, guys. Hope you guys all have a pretty good weekend, and we'll see you guys a little bit later.